All right, you guys, here we go. It's Yaricel, the multipreneur. It's Monday. So you know that means it is a Money Monday. What's going on to everybody? Something that's a little bit different. TikTok, you guys are down here. As you can see, I'm in the office today. And so I don't have my stands and all of that. So y'all gonna have to like see me like this. And I hope that's okay with you guys. I appreciate you guys on TikTok who join me each and every single Monday. So let me do a little bit of housekeeping. You know, we get started at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 6 p.m. for our friends that are in the UK. You guys, we are going to get started in like 5 minutes. Today we're talking about understanding interest. I've been meaning to talk about this for a little bit because I think that if you understood how interest really worked, it will help you to make some different decisions as it pertains to your bills. Don't get me wrong now. I know we do the things that we have to do, but yeah. All right. So let's do this. Let's do that. Hi. You guys, before we get started for the day, I just want to give a special shout out to a fellow TikTok friend. Her name was Kathy Bethay. Kathy had passed away. I just learned that Kathy passed away, and it has really broken my heart. Kathy was actually one of the first people to support my platform financially on TikTok. And she was a wonderful woman, a wonderful businesswoman. She was a realtor out of Texas. I met her long ago through a mutual friend. She worked really hard trying to recruit me for her business. And I was like, Kathy, I'm gonna support you in everything that you do, but I ain't joining your business. But so but anyway, so yeah, she I learned that she passed away and I totally missed the funeral. And I hate that, but Kathy, my condolences to her family and those people who know her. She was a wonderful woman. Wonderful, wonderful woman. Wonderful businesswoman. Learned a lot of things from her. Truly, truly taught me about the importance of just being with one another and supporting one another. She was an amazing lady. So I've got 12:59. I have 12:59, you guys. We're going to get started at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Today, we are going to talk about understanding interests. If this is your first time watching, hi, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. You might want to grab you some pen and paper if you're looking forward to learning about interests, different types of interests, how it works, and all that good stuff. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. And I hope you had a good weekend and hope you had a good weekend on purpose. And I hope you have started your week off on purpose. Here we go. Okay. What time is it? It's time to get the show on the road. It is Yaricel, the multipreneur. It is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me just first say hello, good afternoon to those of you on Facebook. Shout out to the Facebook family. Instagram, how are you? LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. My crew on TikTok over here. And those of you who are listening on podcasts or watching on podcasts, the Spotify, the Apple Podcast, the Google Podcast, and the Anchor crew. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Yaricel, the multipreneur. It is Monday. That means it is a Money Monday. And what do we do here on this channel? We talk about God, we talk about money, we talk about money, and we talk about God. It's as simple as that. If you like what you hear and you're on YouTube, hit that like button, press subscribe. For those of you who are on any other platform, share this with a friend. And let's get the show on the road. So how do we start off Money Monday? We start off Money Monday the same every week. We started off with a scripture, and today's scripture is Ephesians 5:15 through 17. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. And on that note, I want to say Happy New Year to those of you who are celebrating the new year. This is the Jewish New Year. We are in 5783. It's Rosh Hashanah. And I just want to wish you a sweet and prosperous new year. All right. So let's talk about interest. Okay. And so, those of you on TikTok, if this is your first time watching and you want to see the words, you got to jump on over to YouTube. You got to jump on over to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn, or you can just catch a replay later if you're just listening in. All right. One other housekeeping thing for those of you who are on Facebook and those of you who are on TikTok, the stars on Facebook, the roses on TikTok, they go to support people who would like to get a journal, my weekly financial journal, but they can't afford to get one. And so we give those journals out whenever people are in need for through your donations. So let's talk about interest. First and foremost, interest is the premium paid for the use of money. Okay. So when some people say they feel like, there's no price for debt, it is a price for debt. Interest is the price of debt. Okay. So there are two sides to interest. First and foremost, when you take out a loan, you acquire debt. So you pay interest on the loan. Okay. That's the first side of interest. All right. When you take out a loan, you acquire debt and then you pay interest on that loan. And so interest costs acquire additional repayments on top of the original loan or the balance or the deposit. That's one side of interest. There's a second side of interest though. And the second side of interest is when you actually let someone else, like the bank, use your money, you extend credit, and then you get paid interest back. So there are two sides to this coin. Okay. And so today, what I want to talk to you about are some different types of interest so that you have a clear understanding about interest and how it works and what it may look like and how you can either, getting the best parts of being on either side of the coin when it comes to interest. So the first type of interest that we're going to talk about today is fixed interest rate. So let's break this down. What a fixed interest rate is that the interest rate that you have on this particular loan is fixed throughout the loan's repayment period. So fixed is the rate that it doesn't fluctuate during the time that you have the loan. It is just one set price. A lot of times you may see this type of loan or interest type with a mortgage. You may have a fixed interest rate. And so one of the good things about the fixed interest rate is that you know what you're getting. You know how much you're going to be paying. It's clear, clean cut. Like I have a 5% interest rate. That's it. I have a 10% interest rate. That's it. One drawback though about a fixed interest rate is that it can be higher than variable rates if the variable rate drops. But that's basically it for the fixed interest rate. The second type of interest rate is the variable interest rate. So the variable interest rate, it fluctuates with time. It's exactly what it means. It varies. And so you don't have to overpay for a loan, which is a good thing when you have an interest rate that's assigned to a prime interest rate, for example. But because it varies, then there's a possibility that it may start off one way and then it could go higher. This happens sometimes when people have variable interest rates on their homes. You start off for the first 5 years paying your interest rate at a certain place, and then all of a sudden it jumps up. So this is so important when you're signing loans and stuff like that. You've got to look at the fine print. You need to know, am I in a fixed interest rate? Am I in a variable interest rate? And also I'm going to hit on the credit cards and stuff like that in just a second. But what you want to know is you want to know what type of interest rate it is. This is really, really important. That way you don't get blindsided, because you don't want to have a mortgage that's $1,000. In 5 years, you're living your best life, and then boom, now your mortgage rate is, or now your mortgage is $1,500, and it's because you're in a variable interest rate. Okay. All right. The next type of interest that we're going to talk about is annual percentage rate. Where do we see annual percentage rate? This is really common when it comes to credit card companies. And credit card companies, apply this method when you carry your balance forward instead of paying it off every month fully. That's why it's so important that you pay off your credit card be by a particular by the time the new bill is coming out. So if you use the credit cards, which they're great, like I think that all credit cards are not bad. I think that some people are really maximizing the benefits of credit card as they're building their credit. They're getting bonus points. They're getting cash back. They're using all of the benefits that credit cards give you, and they're paying the credit card off at the end of the month. I tell people all of the time, get a credit card that carries a balance, that you can get yourself out of trouble if you get into trouble. Some people, they have credit cards, $1,000, because they know that if they get into $1,000 worth of debt, they can get themselves out of that. So, but because you have to keep in mind, you borrow some money, they're going to want you to pay some money on top of it. So you see annual percentage rate with our credit card companies. The next type of interest that I want to tell you about is prime interest rate. And I know some of you are like, well, I've never heard of that. I know, but prime interest rate is the rate that banks give to their favored customers. That means the people who get prime interest rates, they got really, really good credit. That's one of the benefits of having great credit. That's one of the reasons why credit is so important. Your credit is going to determine the amount of interest rate that you're going to get on different things. Prime rate is a rate that's special, and it's usually lower than lending and borrowing rates. So if you never heard of prime rate, work on your credit, okay? And you may have an opportunity to be one of the people who can say that you have been offered a prime interest rate on something, right? So it's like new goal, prime interest rate. The next type of rate that I'm going to talk to you about is compound interest rate. This is my favorite. I love talking about compound interest rate. And just like, there's two sides of interest. Compound interest rate there's the side that the banks are on, and then there's the side that we are on, right? The banks use compound interest. So it's basically interest on top of interest. The banks use compound interest to make money. Your money in the bank is making compound interest for the bank. They're making money off of your money. You can make money off of your money. That's one of the beautiful things about our retirement accounts, is that the earlier you start, the power of compound interest, the ability for you to make money on top of the interest that you're getting, is just wonderful. It's the reason that a 20-year-old who starts investing at $500 a month, they could stop investing later on, and a person who is putting in $1,000 a month can't catch up to the person who's invested earlier because of the power of compound interest. Compound interest is really what the banks really love. And so this methodology, interest on top of interest, actually has a formula. It isn't what a lot of people think. A lot of people think that there's it's math. And I know for some of you, you probably thought, I'll never use that algebra again. But if you look at the screen, this is the formula for compound interest. I'm going to break it down to you. So when you see the X represents compound interest. That P is the principal. So that's the initial deposit or the loan amounts. That R is the annual interest rate. And the N is the number of compounding periods. I'm going to break it down in a second. And then that T is the number of time the money is invested for or borrowed for. Okay. So let me show you what this looks like in real time. So let's say you have a deposit of $5,000 into your savings account. Okay. The annual interest rate is 5%, very conservative. And the money is compounded monthly. The deposit earns then $3,235 in the interest at the end of 10 years. So over the 10-year period, your deposit grows from $5,000 to $8,235. And so the rewards to compound interest are just amazing. You know, this is one of the reasons that you do save, is so that you can get the benefits of compound interest. Choose deposit accounts and investment accounts that give you compound interest so that the interest really has a chance to build up. And then you want to try to avoid paying out compound interest. So try to look for loans that have that charge simple interest. Try to pay cash for things. I'm a big fan of paying cash for things. I was really fortunate to be able to pay cash for my son's last car. I, I just tell people all the time, if you don't have to get those loans, don't do it, because the bank is going to make money off of the interest. Okay. And then, of course, I know if you have a personal loan from somebody and they don't charge you interest on the loan, then you are really fortunate. But basically, as simple as it is, interest is simply, at the end of the day, the price of debt. It's the premium paid for the use of money. Okay. So I hope that this breaks down and you understand interest. For those of you, like I said, who are on TikTok, you can go back and catch all of the words and stuff. This video will be immediately posted onto YouTube. So make sure you head on over to the link in the bio and go to that. If you are looking to get a journal, you can visit my website at IamTheMultipreneur.com. For those of you who are looking to get a journal on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Books A Million, it is a paperback version. You won't get the spiral version, but you can get the spiral version on my website. And follow me on my socials. I am on Instagram at I Am The Multipreneur. I'm on Twitter at The Multipreneur. Follow me on TikTok at Yaracel. And if you have a desire to have a Excel spreadsheet just to help you with your budget, be sure to email me at IamTheMultipreneur@gmail.com. All right, you guys, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful week on purpose. I will see you again next Monday, where we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the things that affect our retirement accounts. I told you we're going to hit on those things these next couple of weeks. I'll talk to you soon. I love you all. Have a wonderful week. Goodbye.